So you asked for this video and now you have it. Hello guys, one more time and welcome to Ring Royalty. My name is Alexis, as you already know, and here today I am bringing you something that you requested on my top 10 best female wrestlers of 2021. If you haven't seen that video, the link will be over here, check it out. But I am giving a little twist to your request. Why? Because I will bring you today my top 5 best women's matches in 2021, but also I will include the top 5 worst matches of this year. There have been ups and downs during 2021 and we're going to talk about all of that here in this video. Bear with me if you don't agree, this is all a biased opinion and it is coming out of this brain, so try to not be so mean in the comments. Feel free to share in the comments which matches will be at the top and at the bottom of 2021 according to you. So without anything left to say, let's start with the video. Let's start with the positive side, the top 5 best matches, and I have 2 honorable mentions before starting with the top itself. The first one will be the last women's standing match in NXT New Year's Edition between Rhea Ripley and Raquel Gonzalez. A very hard-hitting match. I think it deserves to be an honorable mention. And also the champion versus champion match at Survivor Series between Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. That was another great one. Those two will be the closest to my top 5. My spot number 5 is from WWE Crown Jewel, and it will be the triple threat match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch against Bianca Belair against Sasha Banks. First of all, it is a historic match. We have 3 women competing in a title match in Saudi Arabia. That's already gold. The match itself was fantastic. There were so many great spots. Everyone had time to shine. It was a lengthy match, which is something very uncommon, especially in the Middle East. So history was definitely made with this triple threat match. There is absolutely nothing that I can say that it was bad about this match. Probably the ending would be questionable, but it was still fitting to make everyone look strong by the end of the match. Bianca Belair displaying her unbelievable athleticism and strength, Sasha Banks being charismatic as always, and Becky Lynch being the cocky heel and champion that we need. So everything was on point with this match. Absolutely no complaints. This is how you showcase a triple threat match. Period. For number 4, I am moving to Impact Wrestling and I'm choosing the Impact Knockouts Championship match at Bound for Glory between Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo. Storyline wise, probably the best match out of this list. The build-up was fantastic, something that we lack in women's wrestling most of the time. Great storytelling that has a blow-up match to end the rivalry. This had it all. Mickie James and Deonna Purrazzo definitely tore the house down. They were amazing rivals, giving us a 4+ month rivalry which ended in the biggest event of the year of the company and also in a very personal, physical and grueling match between them. The legend Mickie James against the new legend killer, maybe, Deonna Purrazzo, was a perfect match. It was literally the battle of the generations. There were so many great spots, both of them kicking out of each other's finishers, and after a grueling battle of over 12 minutes, Mickie James would finally defeat Deonna Purrazzo to become the new Knockouts champion. Everything was magnificent in this match. And remember, I always mention that storytelling sometimes is even more important than the wrestling itself. And this match had both of these things combined. So, perfect match, definitely. At number 3, I am moving to NXT, specifically TakeOver Stand and Deliver during WrestleMania weekend to choose the NXT Women's Championship match, Io Shirai against Raquel Gonzalez. Io's high-flying moveset was the perfect match of Raquel Gonzalez's powerhouse moveset. It was a match made in heaven, which gave us a spectacular NXT Women's Championship match. We are used to see takeover matches delivered time and time again, but they definitely stood and delivered during this pay-per-view. Io Shirai, as always, risking it all, jumping from absolutely everywhere that was possible. Crazy stunts from that woman. Kudos to Io Shirai. She is fearless. She doesn't give a damn if she gets hurt. She just wants to entertain us, and we should appreciate that as fans. Also, this was the biggest match of Raquel Gonzalez's career. She definitely didn't disappoint. This felt like a passing of the torch moment. Raquel ragdolling Io Shirai like she was just a doll, and then Io Shirai pulling the Rey Mysterio card and being the underdog in the match despite being the champion. This was really good. Like, there is no other way to describe it. Io Shirai moonsaults are just perfect. She did a couple of them. But at the end of the day, Io couldn't hold back Raquel and all of her strength. Two Chingona bombs, one outside the ring and one inside, would give Raquel Gonzalez her first NXT Women's Championship after a fantastic match. This match, hands down, was my favorite of the NXT Women's division in 2021. There is nothing that could compare to Io Shirai against Raquel Gonzalez at Stand and Deliver. At number 2, I have a match that was based on carnage and massacre. Britt Baker against Thunder Rosa in an unsanctioned lights out match. The most brutal match I've seen, not even in a while, ever. This was Mick Foley against Edge at WrestleMania 22 caliber. Both of them gave their all. We had chairs, thumbtacks, tables, ladders, absolutely everything involved in one match between these two women that wanted to beat the hell out of each other. They despise each other, and this hatred was definitely portrayed in the match. And this solidified Britt Baker as a hardcore legend probably, and as one of the most important faces of the company. Not the women's division, but the whole damn company. Britt Baker did absolutely everything in her power to make this match look like a 5-star match. And in my book, it definitely was. Thunder Rosa also did a lot to make this work. And having Thunder Rosa bleeding first and then making Britt bleed, having bloody Britt Baker in the match with thumbtacks all over her back. I remember I watched this specific match with my mom, and she was so grossed out by the middle of it that she couldn't take it anymore and left. This is how gruesome this match was, and I loved it. They took it to the next level. There were no gender barriers here, and they proved that women can do exactly what men do, and sometimes even better. Britt against Thunder Rosa is a must-see match, and if you haven't watched it because you're just a WWE fan, I recommend you do if you truly love women's wrestling. You won't regret it, believe me. And at spot number 1, my favorite match of 2021, WrestleMania Night 1 main event between Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's Championship. We talked about history with the Saudi Arabia match, but this match made history first. This was the first one-on-one main event women's match at WrestleMania. This is also the first time two black women main event WrestleMania. And also, this is the first time that a women's match wins an ESPY. There is so much history involved here. I watched this WrestleMania show with my boss, Marco. He was so invested in the match despite not knowing either Sasha or Bianca, because the emotion that they were putting in this match was palpable. You can feel both of them wanted this to be so special and magical, and they achieved that with flying colors. Up to this point, I haven't seen Bianca Belair look better than that match at WrestleMania. It was a 5-star match caliber. I am not sure if it is ranked as a 5-star, but it is 5-star for me for sure. Both of their looks were on point. Bianca crying at the start of the match because of the opportunity that she was given. Sasha Banks trying to hold back the tears because she was the heel and she couldn't just showcase her emotions like that. Pure magic. Sasha Banks using the braid against Bianca, and then finally Bianca snapping and whipping Sasha across the sternum, making a gigantic bruise, and then the KOD for the 1-2-3, giving Bianca her first singles title in WWE, and also adding one match to Sasha's resume of fantastic performances. I think everyone won in this match. Both Bianca and Sasha won the ESPY, and also a lot of fans. Arguably one of the best matches at WrestleMania in women's wrestling history. Period. It's time to switch our mindset and go from best to worst. Before talking about the top 5 itself of the worst matches in 2021, we have some honorable mentions or dishonorable mentions. First, we have the traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 tag team match. Pretty dull, pretty messy, badly booked, it just wasn't it. And also, we have the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view where Team Shania defended the tag team championships against Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. Despite having 3 champions in that match, it was poorly booked again. Having Reginald involved added absolutely nothing to that match. It felt like an afterthought. And that's all creative problems. Oh god, let's start. So at number 5 of worst matches, I will choose the tag team turmoil match at WrestleMania. The whole match was very disorganized, it was very messy, there were many botches during it, and also some other things that just made the crowd go like, WTF? From Mandy falling on the ramp during her entrance to the ring announcer definitely fucking it up and mentioning the wrong team as the eliminated ones. Everything from this match seemed improvised. There were some nice moments, don't get me wrong. The Riot Squad getting a nice showcase before splitting and Ruby getting released. And also Natalya and Tamina got the WrestleMania moment, but it was too long. It wasn't well prepared and it didn't have anyone on the edge of their seats. There were barely any reactions. At some point, people there even start booing because of so many botches. I love multi-women matches, but this match wasn't it at all. Speaking of multi-women matches that were really messy, my spot number 4 is from AEW and I'm going with the Casino Battle Royale at All Out. Oh god. The Casino Battle Royale should be something that we can compare to the Women's Royal Rumble from WWE. But for some reason, I don't think AEW has found a way to make this work. There are so many mistakes in this type of match. Just by 5 people entering at once, the cameraman doesn't know what to do. The director probably doesn't know if he should focus on the action inside the ring or on the competitors entering the match. There are 5 of them and sometimes they are not running in or walking in at the same pace. We had some nice surprises there, like Ruby Soho's debut. Kiera Hogan was also there, but it was just a big fat mess. I don't really think anybody looked that strong, not even Ruby Soho, who was the winner. I just don't understand. Having so much star power in one match, including women like Jerry Cargill, Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, Ruby Soho, The Bunny, and it still didn't work? Creative, put some effort into the women's division, please. Thank you. Spot number 3, SummerSlam 2021, SmackDown Women's Championship match between Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch. I felt tempted to put this match at the top, but considering it wasn't really a match, it was just a screwjob, a squash. Becky returning was something big, but the way she returned left us with a bittersweet taste in our mouths. Bianca Belair's hard work of 6 months ever since the Royal Rumble victory were thrown away by giving Becky Lynch the championship in 27 seconds. Even some of the fans in the audience weren't cheering for Becky anymore up to that point. I know they were going for a heel turn, but it still didn't feel right. It wasn't the right way to do it. They did Bianca dirty and there's no other way to say it. She was hurt and her momentum was hurt after that loss. For a second I thought they were dropping the ball on Bianca. Thankfully that didn't happen. But it doesn't mean that this wasn't one of the worst moments in women's wrestling in WWE during 2021. I won't say anything else about this match because that was the whole match basically. So, thumbs down. At number 2, I am going with a match that actually had a lot of hype to it, but it just failed miserably. Hell in a Cell, Alexa Bliss against Shayna Baszler. After all the shenanigans with Lily, I was expecting an extravaganza and it didn't happen at all. What the hell was that? Alexa didn't look strong, Shayna didn't look strong. The match was a proper one-on-one match without any shenanigans besides the mind-controlling thing with Reginald and Nia outside the ring. But I just wanted to see Lily snap, like some fire, things falling from the sky. Something. We know that Alexa Bliss is no match for Shayna Baszler in the ring, but with this character that she had going on, maybe they could do some interesting stuff, but they decide not to. And having a regular match just wasn't believable at all. I feel Shayna looked quite weak. The worst part is that they invested so many weeks in the build up to this match, and so many people, including myself, were hyped for it. They did quite a decent job, and this is what we get as the big blown out match. Girl, no benefit from any of these women. Definitely bad decision to have this match, bad booking during the match, and bad everything to not follow up the story with a way that was relevant for either of the competitors. This wasn't it either. This wasn't it at all. And we have finally reached the worst of the worst. If you follow women's wrestling, you definitely know which match is in this spot. A match that had absolutely no way to be a decent match, and WWE decided to go with it anyways. I'm talking about Eva Marie against Alexa Bliss at SummerSlam. There was no way in hell that this match would be nice, and it wasn't, obviously. Eva Marie just doesn't know how to wrestle. She can have not even a decent match with anyone. And having on the other side the Alexa Bliss, who is relying on her character because she isn't that great of a wrestler, she can't carry a match. She needs to be carried. She can have great matches when the other person is carrying it. But this wasn't the case. We're talking about Eva Marie. She couldn't even carry herself. I am putting this in my number one not only because the match was bad, but there was absolutely no expectations from it. Nobody was excited about it. And the fact that WWE probably knew that this would be a failure, but they still went with the match at the biggest party of the summer, I just don't understand what they were thinking. Was it for Doudrop to finally drop Eva Marie? Because if that was the final reason, they could have found a better way to do it and not embarrassing two female performers. The whole rivalry was pointless, the match was awful, it was only 4 minutes long, but it felt like an eternity. I don't think anybody enjoyed that match. Lily's chants were bigger than both Alexa and Eva's combined. That's all that I have to say. This is how the match went. The doll got more reaction than the performers themselves. To sum this all up, Alexa Bliss against Eva Marie at SummerSlam takes the crown as the worst women's match in 2021. Okay, so these were my top 5 best and worst women's matches in 2021. Let me know down in the comments what do you think about my lists, and also share which is the best and worst match in your opinion during 2021. What do you think? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree? All of that in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. It would help me a lot. Thank you one more time for your support. I know I mentioned this in each of my videos, but I am truly grateful. And also thank you for requesting this video. It was very enjoyable to remember and rewatch most of these matches. Some of them were painful though, but I mean, this is my job, so that's what I gotta do. Well, there's nothing else to say. Here is my Instagram if you want to contact me or anything. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. This will be my final video of 2021, but I am already working on my first video of 2022, and I promise you it will be the longest yet greatest video I have uploaded to date. There's nothing else to say. Stay safe and see you next year. Bye.